IPNLF works to empower responsible fisheries around the world, working towards a future where thriving fisheries work in balance with nature by catching one fish at a time. In July 2021, councillors in St Helena will consider a new Fisheries Bill which, if enacted, will make St Helena a one-by-one only tuna fishery, enshrining the island's long tradition of one-by-one fisheries in law. The Fisheries Bill represents the hard work and effort of politicians and fishery stakeholders. The support provided by the Bluebelt Programme has been instrumental in developing the legislation.
Good afternoon and greetings from St Helena Island. My name is Clint Beard and I am the chair of the subgroup dealing with the Fisheries Bill. The Fisheries Bill has taken some time, but the end result reflects the good work that has been achieved. We are now on the verge of progress to a formal sitting, with the hope it will be approved. The legislation is to support and promote St Helena's management of the valuable marine resources and the protection of these in a sensible and sustainable way. The sea and the resources are valuable to any community, and the commitment showed by St Helena to use local skills and advice, with also the input of our international stakeholders, has created a bill that is valuable to the future plans of St Helena and for generations to come. The benefits to St Helena by adopting this bill will enable wider market reach and higher value products through responsible and transparent methods. The Fisheries Ordinance will replace the current Fisheries Limits Ordinance established in 1977 and is a result of lengthy collaborative policy and legislative revision exercised under the Economic Development Committee and the island's fisheries stakeholders. An important improvement within the ordinance when compared with the current fisheries law is a change in the type of fishing methods able to be employed within our MPA, to include the predominantly one-by-one fishing method alongside the use of lobster potting and droppers, thus prohibiting the less environmentally friendly and potentially damaging fishing methods from being able to be practiced. My thanks goes out to all those who's worked tirelessly on this fisheries bill, here and those overseas. The work and involvement has created this essential document for St Helena. Thank you.
So the St Helena fisheries legislation that we currently have is now quite outdated. It was fit for purpose during its time, but St Helena needs to move with the times and have a more robust legislation in the current environment and the fisheries environment as a whole. So to that end, I would say a good number of years ago, the St Helena Government looked at ways of being able to either revamp the old one, and with the support of the Bluebelt Program, they've actually been able to take that to almost a slightly different level, to look at it, almost go back to the drawing board and create a new legislation. What it's done is given St Helena the resources and the tools to review and create evidence-based fisheries policy, which has now subsequently been translated into legislation and currently going through the process of enactment. So with the evolvement of the new fisheries legislation, the fishing community on St Helena, the fishermen themselves, has had a lot of opportunity to be involved in the putting together of the policy and also understanding the actual legislation itself that is being put forward for enactment. But I think there is a lot of credit due already to the fishing community for embracing some of the changes that have come about. The island hasn't had a lot of change for a good number of years, and some of the things they needed to be educated on to be able to understand why these changes were necessary. So I think a lot of credit is definitely merited towards St Helena's fishing community for just embracing these changes and being open to understand why it needed to be the way it is now.
It's in my culture. It's from my grandfather's days and his father.
Passed down from great-granddad down to me.
From the time I could understand words, I understood fishing. You probably find that every family on St Helena has some connection somewhere to a fisherman. It's in everybody's blood, if you will.
Ever since my grandfather's days, we used to use this one line, one hook, and that's it. And I've been fishing now for 40 years, and it's still the same thing we're doing right now.
You can speak to the oldest to the youngest fishermen on St Helena, and they'll tell you this is how we catch fish, because it's been like that pretty much since fishing has been undertaken in St Helena's waters.
The one-by-one fishery is ingrained into our culture, whether it's by a hand line or a rod and reel, it's you against the fish.
One boat, one fisherman, school of tuna, one pole. So a lot of work, but brilliant.
It's really exciting when you got to pull a fish in the boat. And I just love catching fish.
We need to protect that into the future. So we designated the zone around St Helena a marine protected area. And that puts limitations on the amount of fish that can be caught and the way that it can be caught.
Five minutes after you catch the fish, we clean it, got it on ice, and we get it to the factory within a couple of hours. It's really fresh fish.
Once it gets into the factory itself, the fish is graded and weighed, immediately cleaned, and then hung and put into chilled storage. We can pretty much tell you what fisherman caught that fish. So our traceability stand is actually very, very good.
The person that's eating that fish a million miles away knows exactly where that fish has come from, and hopefully will know the story that's coming with it. With IPNLF's help, St Helena will be right there, entering into the international higher-grade tuna markets. People are actually sitting up and paying attention and using St Helena as a blueprint, if you will, for what they can do with their fisheries.